BuzzChomp is back with more of Foundation. This week it's episode 8. I'm Dan Salem, and lies have been exposed. As this season of Foundation nears its conclusion, the lies are being exposed, the truths are being kind of deteriorated, and we have three main factions. We have Gaal with Harry Hologram, we have Salvor on the Invictus ghost jumping ship, and we have Empire, mainly Brother Day, trying to stop the religious uprising. I'll begin there because Brother Day walked the religious spiral, completed it, and then completely lied about his vision. His android partner, who is thousands of years old, is also lying. She's very much a religious person. She's apparently the last of her kind. I have a feeling there's probably one or two more around the galaxy. But she lives forever, yet she kind of does have a soul. She empathizes. She is not just out for her self-interest, she looks out for others' interests. Now, she's programmed not to disobey Brother Day. That being said, she kind of does disobey Empire. She's out for the good of the Empire, not the individual Cleon. She's supposed to obey the Cleon, and she murders the religious lady, yet they had an understanding, and this was her path, and that woman will be reincarnated because her soul will come back. It does not appear as though Empire has a soul. That being said, I'm pretty sure Brother Dawn has a soul. He is not like the other brothers. He is not like every other Cleon, except for maybe the original, we're not quite sure. And this is something that she's going to notice, and that's where the truth starts to deteriorate. Empire is deteriorating. Brother Day's lies were exposed. She saw through them. More interesting are the lies that Harry Hologram is keeping. Okay, so they were going to build a second foundation on his home planet, a secret one hidden away so that it could survive, where the primary one on Terminus would be known about and was easily, basically, the target. Gaal basically presents a conundrum to Harry. I mean, Gaal can feel the future, see the future. She's got special abilities, and she threatens Harry's math. This is kind of ignorant of everyone involved because the math takes into account the anomalies. I mean, chaos lives, right? The math is not so specific as to not account for the fact that Gaal might be involved. His math probably needed Gaal's involvement, and he didn't even realize it. I mean, he's not this all-knowing genius that sees, he's not God. He is one man that calculated a formula to predict the future. It's coming true, but the details he never were clear about. And Gaal is a detail. Gaal can feel the future details. She shot herself into space, heading for her homeworld to arrive 100 and some odd years in the future. Unless Invictus ghost ship, which disappeared, opens and reappears right in front of her path, and then she smashes into it, and that's how Gaal and Salvor kind of meet up. We're not going to see Gaal until season 2, 130 years in the future. Now, that doesn't necessarily matter, because there's a good chance that Empire will still be around. There will be different empires, and the Empire will still be falling. Salvor jumped in the Invictus ghost ship at the end of the episode, and who knows if she's going to jump into the past, present, or future, because this ship is jumping, and it jumps through time, not just space. You can't just jump through one and not the other. It takes time to jump through space, and vice versa. Also, it could probably do both if it wanted. I don't know if we're going to just jump 130 years into the future, but I could see it happening. Salvor, her abilities are not directly tied to the vault. The vault seems to enhance them. She can feel people, she can feel their past, she can feel their truths and their lies. And the vault gives her a lot more knowledge, and that was severed, but she still does have her abilities. Her and Gaal's abilities are very much complementary. Salvor, Gaal, complementary powers, if you will. And this is how the Foundation is going to survive and thrive. There are two Foundations, and there are two people with special abilities, each one protecting one of the Foundations. I don't believe for a second that Gaal doesn't want to protect the Foundation, especially the one on Harry's homeworld. And she took the knife with her, which means she took Harry with her. She knew she needed him. She knew that this was important. She's not going to just let it die. The Anacreans are out for revenge, and they will murder anyone in the process. And this is a lie exposed by Salvor. And the ship, although it jumps, you had to be inside a protective pod so your brain didn't basically explode and melt as you jump through time and space. Humans figured out a way to genetically engineer a creature that could handle the jump mentally in their brains. Otherwise, this old ship, you had to literally plug your brain into the ship to control where it's headed and not die. You had to be in the pod to not die, and then you had to plug your brain in to navigate. Because you didn't have anybody that could stay alive to navigate. Well, nobody got plugged in before it jumped. They're all going to probably die, except we know Salvor is going to survive because she's got some special brain going on. I think she can actually handle the jump naturally. And she would probably navigate the jump naturally because she has a very special mind. Can she take it to Terminus? Is she going to intercept Gaal? And What's going to happen with Hugo, who was stranded out in outer space? What's going to happen with the Anacreons on the ship who didn't get into a pod to protect themselves? There's a lot of open questions, a lot of lies exposed, and a lot more things that I want to know, damn it, because we're winding down in the season. And there's nothing to say that we have to stay in this time frame. We technically jumped 34 years in this first season. So maybe we jump another 100 heading into season 2. If that's where Gaal is headed, and that's where Salvor is headed, Empire will still exist, just in a different form. Brother Day, who evolved, will likely continue to do so. And maybe he is a real soul. Maybe he will be very, very old and the last of his kind when we finally meet him again in the future. Which may not be the future, but really truly the present. Because time is inconsequential in this construct. I'm Dan Salem. Subscribe to BuzzChomp for more of Foundation and other great TV. And comment below with your ideas on what time we end up in by the time Season 1 of Foundation winds down. Woo!